I'm very happy and inspired by all of your association and enthusiasm in this 21 days reading challenge. I'm very, very grateful, thankful to each one of you for taking to the serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm very hopeful Maharaj is joining anytime. I'll request our Adhanamrit Prabhu, please keep a watch on Maharaj's arrival. Dear devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very special. It is non-different from Krishna. Once, I might have told you this, but I want to repeat it again. Once, Lord Krishna was in Dwarka, and Brahma and others, Brahma and all the devatas, they came to meet Lord Krishna. And Brahmaji told that, my dear lordships, so the Supreme Lord, you have established your devotee as a king now. Yudhishthira Maharaj is the king. And you have fulfilled the purpose of your arrival, of your coming to this earth. Now you may depart. As per your desire, you may depart now. So the Lord said, okay, Brahmaji, thank you. Because Brahmaji said that we called you and our purpose is sorted. Now it is up to you. You can stay here as much as you want, or you can go back to your abode. So the Lord decided, okay, then he called all the he went to Sudarma Sabha. He called all his dear associates, all the ministers and everybody, all the Yadu dynasty's chief people where they came, and the Lord directed them that let's go to Prabhashetra. And then what happened? Our Uddhavji. Uddhav is a very dear friend of Lord Krishna. When Uddhava is very, very small, since that time he is worshipping Krishna in the form of doll. Uddhavji played two roles. He was his minister, he was his best friend. Now, Uddhav was very, very intimately connected to Lord Krishna. And there is no way Uddhava would want that Lord Krishna should depart. But he saw the symptoms, that he saw the plans that looks like Lord Krishna is planning to go. So he approached the Supreme Lord in confidence in Dwarka. And he said, Lord, what are you doing? What is your plan? Please tell me what it is all about. And then, and the Lord Lord said that I have to go. I have there is no reason why I should be here. And Uddhava said, what about the people who are going to come in this age of Kali? They will as soon as you leave the planet, Kali is going to influence everyone, and they will not follow dharma. They will not worship you. So what is going to happen in that situation? So there was and that is where they had a discussion about the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. The 11th canto of Bhagavatam was discussed in Dwarka, in confidence between Krishna and Uddhava. And when Uddhava was requesting again and again to not leave, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad Pranam Maharaj, Hare Krishna. I'll just complete in one word, just one sentence. That when at that time Lord Krishna said that to Uddhava, that I will appear in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going now, but I will come in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami Pad, he has confirmed this. That Krishna Swadhama Pagade, means when Krishna departed to the abode, Dharma Jnana Divi Saha, he went with Dharma Jnana, everybody. At that time, what happened? Puranarko Kalau Nashtam Rasha Desha Puranarko Adunoditaha. To destroy the effect of Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna appeared in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna, they are not different from each other. And that's why this 21 days reading challenge is for this particular thing. And today we are very, very happy. I'm very, very grateful that we have a very special guest here. who is himself an ambassador of Bhagavad Dharma in the major part of the world. He travels, Bhakti Sarvagya Gauranga Swami Maharaj. He travels across the world and he establishes Bhagavad Dharma. Maharaj is an inspiring preacher and a kirtan leader who travels widely. He inspires many young people. He has a huge following of, and he's coming from African continent. That is a very difficult and challenging place to spread Krishna consciousness. And Maharaj has taken that challenge to his heart, and he's spreading the culture of Bhagavad Dharma. He has been specifically active in preaching amongst university students, helping them understand the relevance of spiritual wisdom in modern life. And through his discourses, he highlights the eternal relationship between Bhagavan, Bhakti, Bhakt, and Bhagavan. He's a youth icon. So it is my pleasure, Maharaj. It's my pleasure, Maharaj, that you are here with us. You have taken out time for guiding us, for inspiring us to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj. I'm very, very grateful and very, very thankful to you for coming. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So it is my great honor and pleasure to be with all of you today as we discuss a verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Thank you to our host, His Grace Brother Sundar Prabhu, and Vedavarsity.com, where it's a portal for all education which is necessary in our Krishna consciousness development. So we have our topic today, which is the glories of Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. We have been given a verse from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is from the 9th canto, the 5th chapter, text number 14. So just before I start, I'll chant some invocation prayer, which is to get some auspiciousness. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Mitamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 9th canto, 5th chapter, text number 14. I will read the Sanskrit and then the translation. And the verse we have has no purport, so we will move along to where there's a purport in text 20. And then we will put everything into context and discuss our topic. So thank you again for attending the class. Hare Krishna. Duvasa vacha aho ananta dasanam mahatvam drishtam adyame kritagasopi adrajan mangalani samihase. So translation, Duvasa Muni said, "My dear king, today I have experienced the greatness of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For although I have committed an offense, you have prayed for my good fortune." Text 15. Now I'll just read the translations. For those who have achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the pure devotees, what is impossible to do and what is impossible to give up. Text 16. Yannama Shruti Matrena Pumam Bhavati Nemala Tasya Teta Param Kimva Dashanam Avishishyate. Translation. What is impossible for the servants of the Lord? By the very hearing of his holy name, one is purified. 17. Rajan anugrihitoham tvayati karunatmana mat agam pristata kritva pranayan me birakshitaha. Translation. O King, overlooking my offenses, you have saved my life. Thus, I am very much obliged to you because you are so merciful. 18. Rajatam akritaharaha pratyagamana kangshaya charana vupasangriyaha prasadya samobhojayat. Translation. Expecting the return of Durvasa Muni, the king had not taken his food. Therefore, when the sage returned, the king fell at his lotus feet, pleasing him in all respects, and fed him sumptuously. 19. So sitva dritam anitam atityam savakamikam triptatman ripatim praha bhujyatam idisadaram. Thus, the king respectfully received Durvasa Muni, who after eating varieties of palatable food was so satisfied that with great affection he requested the king to eat also, saying, "Please take your meal." So 20, which has a purport. Pritosmi anugrihitosmi tava bhagavata syavai dashana spashana lapai atityanatma medasa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Durvasa Muni said, "I am very pleased with you, my dear king. At first, I thought of you as an ordinary human being, and I accepted your hospitality. But later I could understand by my own intelligence that you are the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet, and talking with you, I have been pleased and have become obliged to you." Purport. It is said, Vaishnavera Kriyamudra Vigyeha Nabhujaya, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 23, text 39. Even a very intelligent man cannot understand the activities of a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, because Durvasa Muni was a great mystic yogi, he first mistook Maharaj Ambarish for an ordinary human being and wanted to punish him. Such is the mistaken observation of a Vaishnava. When Durvasa Muni was persecuted by the Sudarshan Chakra, however, his intelligence developed. Therefore, the word Atma Medasa is used to indicate that by his personal experience, he would understand how great a Vaishnava the king was. When Durvasa Muni was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, he wanted to take shelter of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and he was even able to go to the spiritual world, meet the personality of Godhead, and talk with him face to face. Yet he was unable to be rescued from the attack of the Sudarshan Chakra. Thus, he could understand the influence of Vaishnava by personal experience. Durvasa Muni was certainly a great yogi and a very learned Brahmana. But in spite of his being a real yogi, he was unable to understand the influence of a Vaishnava. Therefore, it is said, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyeha Nabhujaya. Even the most learned person cannot understand the value of a Vaishnava. There is always a possibility for so-called Gyanis and Yogis to be mistaken when studying the character of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava can be understood by how much he is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in terms of his inconceivable activities. Kanta Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki. We're in this 9th canto, dear devotees, and we are hearing a most wonderful pastime wherein the great Muni, mystic yogi, Durvasa Muni, famous across the entire universe for his developed mystic power and learning, has come to visit the great king Ambarish Maharaj. So Ambarish Maharaj is a Vaishnava devotee of the Lord, and he is performing his duties as a king. But of course, he is no ordinary king. He's a saintly king, a Raja Rishi. So it so happens that he had been fasting, observing Ekadasi according to the prescribed rituals of the scriptures. And on the Dwadasi day, he was getting ready to break his fast when the guest Durvasa Muni came to visit. So we all know the culture is Atiti Deva Bhava, that the unannounced guest should be treated as good as God. It is as though the Lord himself has come to visit us. So the guest is of great importance in terms of etiquette, hospitality. What to speak if the guest is an exalted personality such as Durvasa Muni? So when Durvasa had come to visit, then Ambarish Maharaj, who had been fasting, was ready to offer him all hospitality and offer him some prasad. However, the Muni said he will go first and take his bath in the Jamuna. This is happening in Vrindavan. And after that, he will come and honor prasad. Now, the titi for breaking fast had come, and the Muni had not returned from taking his bath. He had become absorbed in his meditations. And so the king, Ambarish Maharaj, understood that he has to break his fast. However, if you are hosting a guest, then the host is meant to take after serving the guest, or to speak of an esteemed guest like Durvasa Muni. So he, understanding the scriptures, decided that he can break his fast without breaking it by drinking water. So he took a little bit of water, which meant that he kept his vow of breaking the fast at the correct titi. However, the mystic yogi, by his potency, Durvasa Muni could understand that the king had broken his fast before serving him. And so Durvasa Muni coming back, and we can see that this is the influence of the modes of nature, where one can liken the activities of Durvasa Muni as someone who has become proud and intoxicated about his mystic power, about one's own importance and significance. And this we can note in our own hearts, in our own behavior, where we move around in the world with a sense of who we are and how important we are and how others should deal with us in a certain way. And in many cases, expecting honor from others. And when we don't get such honor, becoming disturbed, even by anger. You can take something as simple as it's arati time at the temple, and the lamp is coming from the Lord, and the young devotee Bhakta is first offering it to Prabhupada, and devotees are calculating, that how senior am I here? And if you see that the lamp is given someone who joined 2 weeks after you, becoming upset. However, the devotee is meant to give all honor to others and not expect honor for oneself. This is the character of the devotee. So we see here Durvasa Muni is falling short from this standard of not wanting to receive honor, and we're seeing that he's being influenced by anger. What anger came upon him is that he invoked a fiery demon, that he had decided that he will kill the king for such minor offense. In fact, not even an offense, but he had taken it as such. So now we are seeing the difference between the yogi's character, the karmi's character, the non-devotee, compared to the bhakta, the Vaishnava. That he is affected by the modes, the yogi, because he has some material desires. And in the case of the pure devotee, Maharaj Ambarish Maharaj, it is said, Savai mana padara vindayo vacham sivaikunta gunanuvanane. He had devoted himself in engaging his mind, his senses, his body, everything in the service of the Lord. That he was going to the temple every day, seeing the deity, smelling the incense, preparing food for offering to the Lord, thinking about how to serve the Lord. This is the absorption of a pure Vaishnava. And because the devotee is absorbed in the service of the Lord, then we hear Mahatmanas Tumampata Daivim Prakritim Ashritam. Such a great Mahatma soul, they are under the protection of Daivi Prakriti, the spiritual energy of the Supreme Lord. And also Krishna has told Arjuna that declare it boldly, O Arjuna, that my devotee never perishes. Koteya pratijanahi name bhakta pranashati. My devotee can never be vanquished. That means the Lord, who is Bhagavan, the possessor of all opulences. One of his innumerable opulences is that he protects his devotees. And so the Lord, seeing the imminent danger posed by this demon conjured up by this Durvasa Muni, who has become angered and perceived offense where there was none, the Lord sent his Sudarshan Chakra. So Sudarshan Chakra is practically undefeated of all weapons. This is the weapon of the Lord, which sees everything, travels everywhere. It's like the blazing sun. Is meant for protecting the devotees. When we see the form of the Lord, Vishnu or Narayan, he has 4 hands. In those hands, there is the Padma, the lotus, there is the chakra, then there is the Gada, and also the Shank, the conch. So the lotus and the conch are for blessing the devotees. But then the chakra and the Gada are for protecting the devotees. So just in seeing the form of the Lord, we can already see his heart, that he is not only giving blessings, which the entire creation approaches him for, but he also offers protection, and especially protects those who are surrendered unto him. So Sudarshan Chakra appeared Now Durvasa Muni is all of a sudden in trouble. He estimated himself to be very important, and he misused the power of his austerities, his yogic power, because Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Navigeya Bhujaya. He could not estimate the potency of a Vaishnava, of a Bhakta. He could not understand who Ambarish Maharaj was. And so by seeing him just with the naked eye, he estimated himself to be less than himself. He didn't understand that he was protected by the Lord. So now Sudarshan Chakra is after him. He is in trouble. Now he cannot take shelter of his own mystic power. This is a superior weapon. This is the platform of material existence, where we take false shelter in the ideas of we'll be protected by our society, by our family members, by our bank balance, by the connections that we have. Whereas all of these are fallible soldiers. We can see in the world today that although humanity may take shelter of some idea of an advanced civilization with complex systems of economy and politics and education, communication, but within a few days, within a few months, it can all start to collapse right in front of us. Just some war breaks out somewhere, and now we are finding that the very means of our livelihoods are being threatened. The very protections that were promised by governments, promised by parents to children, promised by educators to scholars, are now like a drop of water on a lotus leaf, very tottering, very destabilized. So in Durvasa Muni, we're seeing ourselves such taking shelter of material prowess, material arrangements is never guaranteed protection. So now he is humbled because a superior force has come, Sudarshan Chakra. Now he's running, using his mystic power. He's going to Lord Shiva. He went to Lord Brahma, trying to seek protection. He even went to the spiritual world to see Lord Narayan. And when he went to Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they all told him, look, we cannot protect you. That Sudarshan Chakra is the all-powerful instrument of the Supreme Lord Narayan. We know that the Lord has said he is time, he is also death personified. So everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. And when he went to Narayan, the ultimate shelter of everyone, Narayan is Bhagavan. The Lord told him, I cannot protect you. So now this is very strange. If someone would hear this, that then what are we doing in Krishna consciousness? What is this practice of bhakti? If the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, who is meant to protect everyone, is unable to protect this yoga, we may feel maybe I may not get the protection of the Lord because, well, I have no direct darshan of the Lord. I don't see him face to face in that way. But here, Durvasa Muni has gone directly before the Lord, and he is begging for protection. And then the Lord reveals a mystical opulence of Bhagavan, that he is telling him, Aham Bhakta Paradino, Hiya Swatantra Iva Dvija, Sadhubi Ridayo, Grasta Ridayo, Bhaktai Bhakta Janapriya. If we go ahead in the same chapter, in the 6th chapter, there we will find a verse somewhere there. It's 34, if I'm not mistaken, where the Lord is telling to Vasamuni, look, I have no independence. I am completely controlled by my pure devotees. I'm under the control of my devotees. I have no independent will. I am in the heart, the core of the heart of my devotees. Why? Because in the core of the heart of my devotees resides a force which can control the Supreme Lord, meaning bhakti. The devotee is said to be Govinda Vishram. He has the Lord within the core of his heart. And how has he kept the Lord within the core of his heart? By the feast of love which he is serving within the core of his heart. The Lord is attracted by that love of a devotee. Therefore, bhakti is glorified as Sri Krishna Akashini. That bhakti, devotion, attracts Sri Krishna. It is like a magnet which pulls Sri Krishna. And therefore, bhakti, which is possessed by the bhakta, then puts the bhakta in a superior position to Bhagavan. So this seems inconsistent. Someone may ask them, how is this? What type of teaching is this? That we are saying the pure devotee is superior to the Supreme Lord. So we can understand that tattva, the truth, the philosophy, then nobody is superior to the Supreme Lord. But when it comes to rasa, the knowledge of relationships, then because the devotee possesses love for Krishna, that pure love of the devotee overcomes Krishna, subordinates Krishna. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan himself, is the one person who, although becomes subordinated by the devotee, remains the Supreme. You see a picture, and we discussed this Leela Kartik time. You see Mother Yashoda, she's got a stick in her hand. And we see that Lord Krishna is running, and Mother Yashoda is chasing Krishna with her stick. When you see this picture, if you show a child and you say, guess, who here is superior? Who here is in charge? Who here is in control? A child may, naturally, the child can see that the mother with the stick is the one who's more powerful, who's in control. And the child who's running is subordinate, is controlled. But when we say, no, 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 this young boy who is running, he's Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda Savakarna Karanam. He is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. Then this doesn't make sense. How is he in control? How is he supreme cause of all causes when he is running from this lady with the stick? So the regular conception of God is the conception of God's Aishwarya, that he is the opulent controller, the powerful. Everyone is below him, bowing to him. Yes, this is the glory of the Lord, but more glorious is not the power of God, but the sweetness of God. How he deals with those he loves. So because their mother Yashoda possesses great love for Krishna, and she wants to deal with him in the position of mother, then she is in fact accepted by Krishna to be a superior. And Krishna is ready to take her orders. And we see Krishna struggling to fulfill the orders of his mother and father. Oh, Kanail, oh Lal, please bring my slippers, chapal of Nanda Maharaj. And young Krishna is struggling to carry the wooden slippers of his father. So this is rasa, mellow. And this is what the heart is looking for, the sweetness of dealing with Bhagavan. So there is Bhakta and there is Bhagavan, the devotee and the Lord. And the exchange, what facilitates the exchange between Bhakta and Bhagavan is bhakti, the acts of devotional service. So Bhagavan, he is that individual from whom everything comes from. He enunciates the principles of Dharma, of religion. It is said that the Supreme Lord, he is the enunciator of religion. Yes. And because of that, he is controlling everyone by the laws of Dharma that he has instituted. So now we are looking at the glories of Bhagavan. We want to remember the testimony of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the first created personality within the universe. He is the Pitamaha, the great-grandfather of all of us in the universe. And he appeared atop the lotus which sprouted from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And he didn't know who he was, he didn't know where he was, and he didn't know what his duties were. He also tried to understand his situation by engaging his intelligence, his mind. Remember, Lord Brahma has a body made of intelligence, dear devotees. Our bodies are made of earth, water, and fire. Those are the dominant elements. The dominant element that makes the body of Lord Brahma is buddhi, intelligence. And he has 4 heads. That means he has great gigabytes of thinking power, discriminating power. So he was proactive. He didn't just sit on the lotus without knowing who he was, where he was, and what he should do. He tried to investigate the source of his birth. However, he could not reach the Lord by his own endeavor. He could not ascertain where he was. And so, returning upon that lotus, he began to meditate. And in that meditation, has set the example for all of us within this universe, because he is the Acharya. Yad Yad Acharatri Shestas. Great personalities, they teach by their own example. And within that meditation, he showed that in this universe, the most successful way to acquire knowledge, self-understanding, to understand our duty to go within. In that meditation, it was revealed to him, tapa, 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 that he had to perform tapasya, austerities. Now, the process of Bhakti Yoga involves within it austerity. We take a look at just the daily activities of a devotee. Waking up in the morning early, taking a bath, whether it's cold winter, cooking, whether it's the heat of summer, offering to the Lord, chanting our rounds for so many hours and hearing the scriptures. Most of these activities, the conditioned soul does not want to do it. Most of us wasted many years not performing any sadhanas. But now we are taking up some difficulty in trying to understand who we are and what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and try to please the Lord by making these sacrifices. So this is austerity. Lord Brahma modeled that austerity. Then it was revealed from his heart the great expanse of Vedic knowledge. And so that Lord Brahma then informs us information that we would not be able, by all arrangement of our mind, intelligence, our connections, our money, to understand about the Supreme Lord. This was the realization given to him by the Lord within the heart, that Advaitam, Achutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. The Lord is one without a second, Bhagavan. There is no one like him, no one equal to him, Asamodva, no one above him. Achutam, he is without decay. He is infallible. Anadim, he is without a beginning. What person do we know without a beginning? Everyone must have a beginning. And many people struggle very hard to understand Bhagavan when they use their material logic, because the logic of this world says everyone has an origin, a mother and a father. So when they come to the idea of God, then they say, well, such a person cannot exist because then he would also have some origin. And so the origin of that origin will have an origin. So an infinite regress of origins. Therefore, their hardware and software crashes. They cannot compute. But Bhagavan, by definition, means anadim, without origin. He's transcendental. Ananta Rupam. Ananta Rupam means unlimited form. His form is endless. His form is endless. Try to take that in. We all have a form which can be measured. So when people hear that Lord Krishna is also Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam, that he is present within each and every atom of the universe, and he is there in his full power, even though in his work, or Ekopya Sora Saitam, Ekopyaso Chaitam Jaganda Kotim, yes, that he is performing the work of creating innumerable universes. Still, he is there within each and every atom. So he's pervading everything. So people think, no, it's impossible. We say that the whole creation is within the abdomen of Krishna. The devotees will say, yes, we saw Mother Yashoda. She comes to Krishna and says, your brother has told me that you have eaten some dirt. How can you do this? I prepare so many lovely sweets for you. There's so much food and you are eating dirt. This is not good. Krishna says, Mata, they're making a story. I didn't do this. If you don't believe me, look into my mouth. So Krishna is trying to trick Mother Yashoda by saying, if I was guilty, I wouldn't say, look in my mouth. But Mother Yashoda is wiser. The devotee is wiser than God in this relationship of mother and son. You won't make me look another day. Okay, open your mouth. Okay, he opens, she looks, she sees everything in creation. She sees Vrindavan, she sees herself, she sees Krishna, she sees herself looking into the mouth of Krishna. She's bewildered. What is going on? Is this some voodoo or what's going on? So people don't believe that. How can everything be in the abdomen of this child? Because the naked eye sees a form which can sit on the lap of his mother, a form which can be measured by longitude and latitude. But they don't understand Ananta Rupam, an endless form. Krishna's form is endless, means it is present in everything, Krishna is there. And also Ananta Rupa means he has unlimited forms, not one. Like the waves of the ocean. Nana avatara makarot bhuvaneshu kintu. So he has many, many forms. Expansions of expansions. Advaita machuta manadim ananta rupam. He is Adim, he is Navayovanam Cha. He is the oldest, and also he appears as a fresh youth. So these paradoxes, they crash the compute power of living beings. So therefore, Bhagavan is in a category which is completely transcendental. So material intelligence cannot reach. So how do we reach such a person? How do we get to understand such a person? We need to hear from the Bhakta. So the devotees of the Lord, who are the devotees? They are also known by their qualities. In the third canto of the Bhagavatam, 25th chapter, Kapila Muni, who's the Lord himself, is also giving there the qualities of the devotees, that the devotee is merciful, he is Ajata Shanta, Ajata Shatrava, he has no enemies, he is Suridam Savadehinam, he is the friend of all living entities. Sadhava, Shanti means he is peaceful, and he's decorated by these qualities. Titikshava Karunika, Suridam Savadehinam, Ajata Shanta, Shatrava Shanta, Sadhava Sadhubhushana is the verse. He's decorated with all good qualities. And one of these great qualities that decorate the devotee is that the devotee is pained to see the living entities suffering. That his pain, his suffering, is to see these parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, whom he loves, you and I, suffering, dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, in this world of padam, yadvi padam, matesham, danger at every step. He is pained by that, and therefore the pure devotee, he takes all risks, all trouble to go out there and to broadcast the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead of Bhagavan. And therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami is teaching us that the first item of devotional service is Guru Padashraya, that one must take shelter of such sadhus. One must accept such sadhus as their spiritual master. Bhagavad Gita also confirms, just try to understand the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively, render some service. The self-realized souls will impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So we are seeing that bhakti is not of this world. It is a supreme force, love, prema. This supreme force is able to control Bhagavan, who is the supreme potent. And this supreme force of bhakti is carried by the bhakta, who distributes it by preaching. Therefore, this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that we're hearing in these 21 days is the package where we hear directly from the supreme powerful, supreme person. We hear from the devotees. And by this hearing and recollecting and meditating on this message of Bhagavatam, we are then purified. Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Vedanta Stoya Bhadrani Vidyanoti Suritsatam. By this process of associating with Bhagavatam, then if there's sincerity, this activity itself is punya, it is full of all piety. Simply by hearing, then all these misconceptions and anathas in the heart become washed away just by this process. Therefore, it is said, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We should hear regularly, nirantara, daily, this message of Bhagavat. In that way, what will happen is that Lord Krishna will be established in the heart as an irrevocable fact. What is troubling the heart, which is being attached to material existence, will be washed away gradually. And then our love for Krishna will grow. So Durvasa Muni is sent back to Maharaj Ambarish. And Maharaj Ambarish see what the good qualities of the devotees are. When he sees Durvasa Muni, he is not angry. That means Ajata Shatrava, he has no enemy. He doesn't consider him his enemy. This Muni wanted to kill him. He conjured up a demon just for him honoring his Dharma by breaking fast, by taking water. Instead, he takes compassion on him that he's suffering from the heat of Sudarshan Chakra. He begins to offer prayers to Sudarshan Chakra to pacify. He offers prayers to the Supreme Lord that please protect this Durvasa Muni. And after that, he is feeding him a meal. Who doesn't want to take a meal of prasadam? Please raise your hand. Everyone is happy to accept prasadam. So Durvasa Muni then testifies that today I have seen the power of the Supreme, which is manifested through the power of the Vaishnava. How he could forgive him, how he could pray for him, how he did not take offense, how he was directly protected by the Lord. So by cultivating the consciousness as Ambarish Maharaj, we also become qualified by the protection of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord, and the qualities of the soul arise within us, and we can attract the Lord. So we will now look at some questions.
Thank you, Maharaj. I can read out to you.
Yes, please.
So, Hare Krishna, respected Maharaj. What is the meaning of we are qualitative equal to Lord, but quantitative we are different from Him?
Thank you very much for that question. This helps us to escape the dangerous idea that we are actually God. It's very popular that we are one with God. So our philosophy is known as Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, which highlights that we are inconceivably, simultaneously one with Bhagavan, at the same time different from Bhagavan. So qualitatively means if you take the drop of the ocean and you study it, then you can understand its chemical composition. And by understanding that drop of the ocean, you can understand the chemical composition of the entire ocean. So qualitatively, the drop and the ocean are one. But quantitatively, the drop cannot be compared to the entire ocean because practically infinite water is in the ocean compared to the drop. So we have the same qualities as Krishna, Sat Chit Ananda. We are eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, and we have our spiritual form. But the Supreme Lord, his Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha is Punam, complete, full knowledge, full bliss, and as we said, Ananta Rupam, an endless form, most powerful form. So in that sense, we are qualitatively same spiritual, but quantitatively different potency of the Lord cannot be compared to the minute potency of each living being.
Thank you, Maharaj. Next question is, what I understand after hearing about Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj is that a true devotee should help even his enemies or people swayed by three modes of nature. Is it possible for a modern day devotee also? And if yes, please tell the modalities.
I'll try to read somewhere I was lost.
What I understand after hearing about Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj is that a true devotee should help even his enemies or people swayed by the three modes of nature. Is it possible for a modern day devotee also? And if yes, please tell the modalities.
All right. This consciousness is not cheap. It is the natural state of one who has been cleansed of the material bodily conception of life. Like we are saying, the Titikshava Karunika Suridam Savadeinam Ajata Sattva Santa, these qualities, Sarava Sadhubhushana, of a pure devotee, he doesn't have enemies. But when we have the bodily concept of life, then we see in duality, friend and enemy. And however, we see that with the practice of Krishna consciousness, purifying the heart, that sometimes we are able to not see others as enemies, to have some sort of equal vision by taking shelter of the spiritual understanding. So by hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, this message, how we are the soul, how hearing the qualities of a pure devotee, then in our everyday dealings, that knowledge, that discrimination of purified knowledge can help us to act in these ways where we are actually practicing compassion and we're trying to help even those who may be acting as enemies. However, when the heart is completely purified, then that becomes a natural condition. So now we are practicing how to live in this way. Thank you, Maharaj. There is one more question. My question is that when we hear these kinds of pastimes, we start judging devotees, thus making Vaishnava aparadh. So Durvasa Muni is also a devotee of the Lord. So this mentality to judge devotees should be there or no? So this word to judge the devotee, especially in the modern context, everyone is quite defensive that they should not be called out of their lackings. So, however, the spiritual process is that one voluntarily submits themselves before the superior devotees for them to find our faults and help us to understand what is not beneficial for developing our love for God. So it is said it is specifically the duty of the spiritual master to find the faults of the disciple. So Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, temple authorities, presidents, like peers, also do this in a particular mood. So when there is love, then one can withdraw from that relationship of affection and love by correcting or seemingly judging us by our qualities. But yes, as echoed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that first take the log out of your own eye before removing the speck in the eye of your brother. That we should first reform ourselves. So it is more important for us to look at our own situation more scrutinizingly, meaning judge our own character and our own advancement more strictly than we are looking at others and trying to judge them. But when it's our service, then we can do that service. And when we are feeling judged, we should try to see that no, the devotees are just like a mirror, which is reflecting what is there within us. And if we are sincere to make advancement, when we are called out or seemingly judged, or we'll take it in the humble spirit that I'm getting a chance to see what I can improve within myself.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Our time is up. There are a lot of questions, but probably we'll have to stop. There's one last rapid fire question, which I like to ask you. That there is one devotee is asking, what is better, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam or hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Sorry, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam or hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Probably if this hearing is in person, then I like to ask you, hearing in person from a devotee or reading Bhagavatam? So,
okay, Shravanam and Kirtanam are heads and tails of the same process. One who will speak must have heard, and one who is hearing is meant to speak what they have heard. So when we are hearing, especially, is most important for us, because beginning we are coming from ignorance, so we must hear. So more hearing, and then if we've heard correctly, we will speak nicely. So to read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is also a type of hearing, because it's a vibration. Even if just within the mind, these words are giving a vibration, so we are hearing. And then to hear in person is much more amplified, because one is getting the direct vibration from the speaker. One can see the gestures, the mood. There's a bigger transference. However, the subject matter is transcendental, dear devotees. Therefore, it can cross all material barriers. So even though we are hearing via cyberware, the internet, or we're hearing lectures via our MP3 player, principle is always here. Yes, always here. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. This is why we do devotional service. Continue to hear in person or online, however, read. All of it is Punya Shravana.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Amazing, amazing, amazing class. Thank you so much for association. We at Vedavarsity are looking forward for more courses and classes
Thank
from
you
you.
to all the devotees. I see all of you are here, so many of you. This is wonderful. Srila Prabhupada will bless all of you. We wish you all the very best in your development of Krishna consciousness. Also give your blessings to me. I need them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, brother.
Hare Krishna.